Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas, visiting with Kathy Gray and Heather Scott from Not For Sale, and finding out how we can help our kids just stay safe. So what would you say to parents going one step deeper than watch out who you're communicating with on social media? In what ways? What does that look like?
Well, for me personally, having 4 kids of my own, and 3 of them are teenagers, one's an adult, we always have checked their social media. Like, we get on their social media, we look at who they're talking to, what they're posting. They can't be on any social media that we're not on ourselves. Because it's not social media that's the enemy, because we all know there can be amazing things that you can do with social media. We use it, for Not For Sale. But there's also that dark side that people take advantage of you if you have too much information. So being a parent, making sure that you're checking exactly on what's on their social media, who they're talking to, and also helping your children understand it's very important that you're not posting your location when you're there.
Right.
If you want to post after you've left there, post some cute pictures, that's not a problem. But posting where you exactly are at that exact time can lead a trafficker to you.
It can also lead to somebody, thieves, to, come in here. I remind myself that when we're at a ball game or something, just hold off until we're home and then let everybody know the fun night we had. But they don't have to see you right there on the spot because you are just broadcasting, here's where I am. Are there certain platforms that are more dangerous than other platforms? I'm thinking, okay, Instagram, good, Snapchat, bad? I don't know. Is there a way to kind of be careful about which platforms your kids are using?
I personally don't think there is. I think that all social media can be used for good.
Yes.
Or can be used for evil. And I just think everything needs healthy boundaries. Honestly, I don't think there's one that's worse than the other, because you can do some really cute things on Snapchat.
You can, but it disappears fast.
It does. And, we just have to be aware and teach our children, too, about not posting inappropriate pictures, because traffickers will use that. It will lure them into you, into your child, and that's something that we have to be very careful of as well.
Good advice. How is Not For Sale different from some of the other organizations now that we have that are addressing this issue?
We are different in the way of we feel our mission, our calling is to educate and to bring awareness to our community what's happening here with human trafficking. We also want to be able to get into the schools. That's really where we feel called to, because how we all grew up learning about how not to talk to strangers. I mean, we all learned that. It was drilled into our heads what the tactics that they use, whether it's a dog, whether it's candy, whether it's I'm lost. Well, now we have to teach our children social media responsibility. And they really just aren't understanding that. They're not grasping what not to do and what they can do. So if we can get into the schools, and A21 actually has a curriculum that we would like to use to get into the schools, it would be wonderful. To us, it would change our whole culture if we can get into the schools and educate our kids on how not to be trafficked.
Oh, I think you've got an easy sell here. It will not be hard to get this into the schools and just help the teachers with what they're trying to do, helping parents. Does it begin at home? I'm thinking even to have children and parents both working on the same social media platforms, there's got to be trust there right off the bat, right? It starts with your relationship with your child in the beginning, so that they're sure you can follow me on Twitter. Right. Sure. No problem. But there's got to be some trust there. And, you get into the teen years. I don't know how old your children are. Yeah. Evidently not teenagers yet. I don't.
No, they are. Mine are teenagers and adults.
Kidding.
Yes.
Okay, well, my hat's off to you. You do not look like you could possibly.
Thank you.
But it's kind of trickier once they get to be teens, because they do want to branch off and be on their own and stand on their own. The whole idea of raising children is to let them go.
For sure.
That's the whole point, is for those little birdies to fly on their own. But we're talking about something that we need to partner with them.
We do. I think that's the key word that you just said, partner. I'm probably not the best person to talk to about the parenting side because I'm very old school in my parenting. That's how I was raised. And so for me, it's non-negotiable that I'm not on their social media. Like I have to be on their social media for them to even have it. But we also discussed protecting them and what that looks like. And I want them to have that independence, absolutely, and become their own person. But it's just like with anything. You don't just give a child keys to the car and say drive without teaching them how to drive.
That's right.
It's the same thing with social media. That's an avenue that can be really bad, really quick. So I want them to be independent, but I also want them to learn the safe boundaries with that.
What's in this curriculum? I'm very interested to know. Is there anything you're able to share with us, the curriculum that A21 has? Have you had a chance yet to take a look at it, some of it?
Yeah, we have not. We ordered the curriculum ourselves, and, we are hoping to get into schools and, raise up leaders that can go in there and teach the kids, and that the mentors and establishing that is really one of our goals. And we wanted to do that 2 years ago. But now I think we have a great platform and getting in there.
Absolutely.
And, so I can't share any of that with you right now.
Okay, that's all right. We'll have you come back.
Yes,
exactly.
When we crack that open, we will come back and share.
Well, and when you talk about getting into the schools, would this be a way volunteers could help out, or do you want to keep it with the core group that's getting this started right now?
I think initially it would be the core group till we get our just feet wet, so to speak, and just really get a grasp for the curriculum itself. But absolutely, we would love to have volunteers and mentors with these children, for sure. That would be a great avenue.
I know you're looking for other things for people to get involved with. And, when we met with the FBI agent, it was like Rahab is always looking for people to be trained as mentor for these women that have been trafficked. So there's always opportunities for that, looking like, hey, I can actually go and just listen to these girls and help walk them through these struggles.
When we're talking about trafficking, we're not only talking about the sex industry. We're talking about forced labor as well.
Yeah.
And we're talking about not just little girls, but little boys as well. Yeah. Does that stun you? What is your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean it's manipulating how they get them, and then they'll take them out to Akron to where they don't know where they're at. They don't know anyone, so they feel very disoriented of where they're at. And then once they kind of get used to it, then they take them and they bring them to another farm or somewhere where they're trafficking workers. So yeah, it's.
Who are these children? Are they? It sounded like at one point someone would be going home and her parents didn't know it. That someone was actually being picked up, taken, trafficked, and dropped back off again.
Yes, yeah.
How in the world does that happen?
Yeah, it's through manipulation, and that's what the detective had told us. Like around here in our area, it's demonic because it is manipulation.
Yeah.
The girls feel like I've made this choice, whether it's they've gotten into drugs and they can't pay for something, and now, okay, well, I can supply this to you, but you have to work for it. This isn't for free. Or, a lot of people, the children that get out of adoption or foster care.
Yes.
They will, now what are they supposed to do?
Exactly.
And now they're kind of out there. They're easy snatch up. Hey, yeah, you can stay here. I'll provide food for you. You can live here, but it's not going to be for free. And so they feel like, well, I've made this choice. Or they will put them in a situation where they're getting beat and they will come rescue them. And they will be like, okay, well, I've taken care of you, so now you're going to do this for me. You have to pay me back. So it's stuff like that where you're thinking, why don't these, how can they be out there? Why don't they run away?
Right.
Or they threaten them. If you run away, I know where your family lives. I know your sister. I know your brother. I will hurt them. Or, there's things like that, at a young age, you don't know how, you trust this person that is, kind of
helping you,
but
they're really not.
They're not.
Yeah, so
but they come across as the savior.
Exactly.
And they're just not.
Quite
the opposite.
And another thing that they're using too, in addition to that, I'm sure we've all seen those little signs along the streets of like college kids. You'll make $15 an hour,
right?
$20 an hour, and they have a number to call. A lot of those are fake ads to get these kids lured into where they are, and then they get trafficked. So it's just being aware of just, again, what's happening in our communities so that we can prevent that.
I don't mean to sound glib at all, but knowing how difficult it is to get young boys to do, make their bed, and help with, rinsing off dishes and putting them in the dishwasher. Yeah. forced labor to me sounds like the impossible thing to talk a young child into doing. How desperate would a child have to be before this would look like the better of two roads?
Right.
Well, I think that's another problem in our community that we're really trying to help with is a lot of our kids feel worthless. They treat. I mean, look at our suicide rate of this year and last year.
Yes.
Kids are feeling devalued and worthless. They're depressed. They're oppressed. They have so much pressure on them that I feel like a lot of these kids just feel like, well, that's the best I can do. You know, this is where I belong. So if we as a community can start being more intentional, start being more aware on the day-to-day of what's happening around us, we can actually start helping these kids and seeing the needs and trying to meet the needs.
I love that you're going to be in the schools. Are you going to be anywhere else? Because I bet people would love to get this kind of information.
We are. I mean, we're going to try to do a lot of local events as
Good.
much as possible. So we're doing Main Street Festival August 18th. That's 10 to 8. And then we're going to do the First Fridays down in Canton in September and October before our walk.
Okay, so look for you on First Friday.
Yeah.
All right. And what will you be? How do we tell you? We have a big carnation on, or how do we detect
Yeah,
you?
we have these shirts. They have a barcode with a strike through them that say "Not for sale."
Love it.
And they are for sale.
The shirts.
Yes.
Shirts.
The shirts.
Oh, I want one of those for sure.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see our booth. We have signage that looks like this as well. And you can come over and we have material for you to read through if you want to know more about how people are trafficked and a little bit of a global perspective. So, but yeah, we would love for you to come over and shake your hand and get to know you and sign you up for the walk. 'Cause
Absolutely.
We want them to be part of this.
We all want October 20th.
October 20th.
Need to be there.
We want 1,000 people there this year.
Yes. That's really the vision God gave us. Is 1,000 people.
I think we can do that.
I think so
absolutely
too.
can.
Yeah. You're going to be training children. Will there be any training for parents, training for teachers? Anybody who cares about children, will there be other kinds of trainings available?
There actually are local events that put that on for parents, and we want to be that voice to highlight those events that parents can go to, but we definitely want to be a part of that. That's part of our business plan, so to speak, and vision going forward is we'd love to educate the parents as much as the children.
Oh, that's so important. And can I say grandparents?
Oh, yes.
At the same time, because we really grew up in another day and age.
Oh, yeah.
And the thought that you really can't say, okay, go out and play and I'll call you for lunch. That day's over.
For sure.
So, yeah, and I think some people, we just really need to be reminded. We live in a different world now.
We do.
It's a scary one. Okay, October 20th. Tell us all the details. How do we get involved? Do we sign up first or what?
Well, we'd love for you to register online through A21, and it's a21.org, and then North Canton would be the site that you would go to.
Okay.
Sign up there. You do have the opportunity to sign up with a team or individual. A team means that you want to fundraise for A21, maybe a group if you want to get together, which you can always do that, but you don't have to register for our walk in North Canton. And then you sign up everybody that wants to come. And you can also register at the walk as well.
And is your walk a fundraising walk or just an awareness walk?
It's an awareness walk, but we are accepting donations, obviously, to put on the walk and all the things that we want to do throughout the year.
Right, the walk is free.
Yeah.
The walk is free.
The walk is free.
It's just a
Where do you go to a free walk?
I know, right? I know. There's no reason why you are not there.
Exactly. We can get 1,000 people to say, okay, it's just come take a nice walk.
Yes, there will be food.
You're kidding. All right. Tell us where and when again.
It's October 20th, and it's at Bitzer Park in North Canton, right beside the North Canton YMCA.
Beginning at
9 a.m.
We will see you there. Heather Gray. Kathy Gray. I've done that twice now. Okay. Kathy Gray and Heather Scott, thank you so much for what you're doing in our community.
Thank you so much, Susie.
Thank you, Susie.